Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we're taking a look at this knife here. I don't actually know what this is called. We're just going to call it the Katsu carbon fiber front flipper. Sounds like a good name to me. So yeah, this is a very unique knife. And I've had this for a long time. It's taken me a while to review it. I know other channels like Stasa23 and Neves Knives taking a look at this guy. That's pretty cool, but it took me a long time to get my review ready. So we're coming in at just a smidge over 3.5 inches on the blade. Okay, let's do our comparisons. Let's start off as always. The Rat 1, lining him up pivot to pivot. The Rat 2. So definitely a full-size knife, not a large knife though. And excuse me as I knock things over off camera. Next up, let's bring out the PM2 and the Bug Out. Line them up pivot to pivot. A little bit bigger than the Bug Out. A little tiny bit bigger than the Bug Out. And then let's grab our Civivis. Here's the Praxis. And here is the Elementum. Took me a while to find him. There we go. And I think that's all the comparisons we're going to do. Maybe we'll compare against, you know what, I have another front flipper here on the table right now. So we'll grab it. This is the Civivi Imperium. They are very similarly sized. Okay, so what are we looking at here in terms of materials? So we have a drop point 154 cm blade with a convex grind. We will be talking about that a lot. We have carbon fiber handles, very nice carbon fiber, over steel liners. And then for carry, we have this leather sheath. It has a snap. It is real leather. Smells really good, at least. And you can carry it vertical or horizontal. So, there we go. All right, let's go and show this guy doing some cutting. All right, let's talk the Katsu carbon fiber front flipper. And whoops, I missed that flip. Been doing a lot of cutting today, and actually I'm getting a blister right there, so whoops. Anyways, yeah, let's just jump into it. How are the ergos? Really nice. The lack of a pocket clip and the contoured carbon fiber, as well as the jimping that's around here, gives the knife a comfortable but locked in feeling in your hand. My biggest complaint ergonomically is the jimping back here. This spot pokes into my hand a little bit right there, you can see, but it's not the end of the world, honestly. So ergos are good. How's the action? So this is kind of what I would describe as like a Sabinza of front flippers. It's on washers. It's very smooth, but it's not very snappy. You can snap it out 100%. On the close, you can shake it shut, but it's a very smooth open. It's very controlled. So the action, I think, is going to be great for some people, not so great for others. So keep that in mind. If you're someone who likes to fidget, this is not the front flipper for you. Okay, how's it carry? Well, the lack of a pocket clip means you have this handy dandy little sheath here. And you can carry it like that, or like this. So vertical or horizontal, your choice. It's a nice sheath. It's real leather. Some people are gonna like the on the hip carry. Some people aren't. I don't personally mind it, actually. I was fine with carrying this knife like this. It just, when you wake up in the morning, it takes an extra step to put this on your belt instead of just slip the knife in your pocket. So that may or may not be your cup of tea. All right, let's get some cutting done. The blade is 154 cm with a Convex Grind. Really, really cool. Oh man. Oh man, that was a beautiful slice. Oh, I didn't even do cardboard. Whoops. Excuse me. That's what we're supposed to do first, is cardboard. Oh man. Goes through it like nothing. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's get down here. I do, again, apologize for the wind. It's fall time here in southern New Mexico, so not very cold, but it is windy. Okay, so let's do some pushes. Okay. Okay. Woo. Okay. Yeah, that actually did really well. So again, this test, I've explained this multiple times today, but those are gonna show up in other videos. That rope test, this is a kind of plasticky rope. All it's meant to do is show how many strands the knife can get through with just a single push. So that was not a bad score, actually. That material's pretty rough on knives. Let's do a pool noodle. Whoo! How thin can we get it? Yeah. This is definitely a performance cutter, guys. Definitely a performance cutter. All right, let's get back to the table and talk about it. Alrighty, let's take a look at this very different knife. Because this is a very different type of knife, especially folding knife. And yeah, especially compared to some of the things that, I more conventionally review and or carry, this is very different. Is that good different or bad different? Well, let's find out. Let's get into what I like and what I don't like. So first of all, I really do like the look of this knife. It's obviously modeled after a traditional Japanese folding knife. And it looks kind of like a Rockstead. I'm not saying this is a Rockstead copy because I don't think it's... Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not pretending to be a Rockstead. But yeah, it does have kind of a Rocksteady look. Which is pretty cool. This carbon fiber is gorgeous. Let's look at this. Just absolutely gorgeous carbon fiber. Really, really nice. Minimal hardware. There are just 2 screws holding this knife together. There might, well, yeah, just those 2 screws. Just those 2 screws holding this knife together. Really, really cool. I like the shadow boxing. Really, really nice. The blade finish is good. Very, very nice. So yeah, I like the way this knife looks. Next thing, access to the lock bar is perfect. Chamfered that there and gave you a cutout. Ta-da! Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Out of the box, everything was good, centered, stuff like that. I do have an unboxing video for this knife if you're interested. Go to my channel playlist and look in the unboxing first impressions playlist. It's in there. Next thing, the ergonomics are really good. This knife has no pocket clip, which is one of the weird things about this folding knife. No pocket clip, but it's very comfortable. The scales are contoured, very smooth, but you have a lot of jimping here, so it locks you in. Sometimes the jimping can get a little uncomfortable in places. This can kind of poke into me a little bit, but it's pretty comfortable, actually. I do wish the jimping came out a little bit more, but again, the top of the spine here is knocked down nicely, so it's very smooth. I like the materials on this. 154 cm is a great steel. This carbon fiber is fantastic. So yeah, that's all good to see. I don't know where to go with this next. I'll be honest with you. So we're gonna lump a bunch of things in one. I love how different this knife is. I love that. And let's go over all these things that are very different. No pocket clip. That's different. Not having a pocket clip improves ergonomics of most knives a lot. It's just the sacrifice you make for having a pocket clip. But, no pocket clip. That's cool. It's a front flipper. That's pretty unique front flipper. But it's running on washers. Now, I've heard that there are versions of this that are coming out that have bearings, but this one's on washers. This is the only front flipper I have that's on washers. And you can kind of, slow roll it open. For some reason, I'm better slow rolling it with my left hand. I don't know why, but I am. However, I do think it's meant to be front flipped. And it's a very interesting action. I would call it the Sabinza of front flippers because it's just very smooth but not drop shutty at all. Like very consistent, very smooth open, that kind of hydraulic feeling. Or, heck, if I ever am blessed with the honor to hold a Rockstead, I'd like to compare their actions. I'm sure the Rocks would be better, but I'm sure this would be a similar action. Very good detent, actually. Listen to this click. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So yeah, I do like this a front flipper on washers. That's very unique. I like washer knives. If you guys are new to the channel, I really do like washer knives. I live on a cattle ranch, so for me it's always kind of dusty, grimy environments that I want to use my knife in, and this is resilient to that kind of stuff, so that's really, really good. Next thing, the Convex Grind is interesting. It's really, really interesting. I've never had a folding knife with a Convex Grind. In fact, I'm ashamed to say this, but I've never had a fixed blade with a Convex Grind either. And it's interesting. I found that it was very usable. I'm still learning how to sharpen it. I did not sharpen this knife. I have not sharpened this knife yet. I still want to try, and I'm going to get some other convex edge knives and do some practicing, but I did strop it. And this 154 cm held up amazingly. Yeah, really, really good. I've had this knife for a few months, just dropping. Very nice, very, very slicey. This is receipt paper. Almost got him. Very nice slicing knife. Okay, gotta stop doing that. That's good. That's addictive, though. The Convex Grind, I actually really liked it for EDC. It feels fat. It feels funny. If you're used to more conventional flat or hollow grind knives, it feels very funny. But it performs really good. This thing is, taking a behind the edge thickness rating is pointless, but it went through cardboard so good. And everything I want to do with this knife, I did a lot of food prep with this knife, and it worked. And, I just really wanted to test a Convex Grind and see if I liked it. And I like it. I liked the Convex Grind so much, I started thinking about, what about other knives I have? Would I like this on other knives that I own? Would I like a Convex Grind? Whoops. Here's one of my favorite knives ever. Cold Steel 8015. Love this knife. And I was thinking, would I love it with the convex? And I love this blade the way it is right here with this flat grind, but you know what? If it was possible for me to own an 8015 with a convex, I think I would. I really do. Of course, there are definitely situations where a convex grind would not be the most practical. And again, I'm teaching myself to sharpen convex grinds. I have this one knife. I'm not going to go dig it out. But anyways, it's a fixed blade with a convex grind that I have right now. And I've been practicing my sharpening on that one. Sharpening a convex grind definitely does take a little bit of adjustment. But, basically you just have to move the blade a whole lot more while you're sharpening. I'm using a whetstone. But, I don't know, I just really liked it. It was very intriguing. And I don't, again,
I don't know if it's the edge the grind I'd want to have always, but it's a very intriguing grind. And it works so good. In this folding knife package, it worked really good. You know, convex grinds are great for like woodworking, and it's a pretty tough edge too, which is why I might like it on one of my harder use folders. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm a pretty hard use guy. I like to use my knives pretty hard sometimes. That might be something I'd be into. It also worked for food prep. I did not think it would, but it actually worked fairly well for food prep. Even cutting cheese. It wasn't like amazing, but it did it. It was a great veggie slicer. Holy cow, was it a great veggie slicer. But yeah, I don't know. I just this whole knife just really intrigues me. It's I almost can't explain. I mean, look, this blade just looks so beautiful. I love that swedge. I love the finishing on the blade. It's very, very interesting. And, you know, you have to sheath carry it, which I like the sheath. Let's talk about the sheath real quick. I like the sheath. They give you options for carry. Has the snap. Let's show it there in the sheath. You can carry it either way. Pretty cool. Yeah, something that I appreciate, again, you know, living on a cattle ranch, hanging out with a bunch of cowboys and people all the time. This does not look out of place on my belt. You know, kind of matches saddlebags, except for, you know, I mean, heck, even though the Japanese literature doesn't look bad either. I like that. So yeah, it's a very good sheath. Feels very high quality. It's pretty thick. Good leather. I like it. And this is going to sound, this is going to be really dumb, but as a knife reviewer who is trying to review a bunch of knives, you know, I carry a lot of knives all the time. I switch knives every day. Sometimes I switch knives multiple times a day. And so what I found with this was I could carry this knife on my belt. And then let's say I was reviewing the, I haven't done the review for this knife yet, but the CJRB Scoria. And then I could have the, where's a little tiny knife? Do I have a tiny knife laying around anywhere? Oh yeah, I do actually, in my pocket. Rough Rider. But I could carry a knife in my belt, a knife in my pocket as my primary, and then a fifth pocket carry, and I wasn't feeling like I was overdoing it. So I could carry a whole lot of knives for review at the same time. But speaking of overdoing it, actually, I will tell a funny story. So a few weeks after I got this knife, I went to town, and it was late at night, and so on the as I was heading to town, I live in New Mexico, and the town I was going to, I'm not going to name it, but if you're familiar with New Mexico, you probably know what town I'm talking about. Anyways, it's kind of a little bit of a rough place, and I get pulled over, and I drive a 2006 Chevy Silverado. I get pulled over, and I'm like, well, what's going on? I was going the speed limit and everything. And so the officer, he comes around, and he asked me to get out of the vehicle. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So I get out of the vehicle, and he says, you know, got anything that'll stick me, stab me, poke me, got anything I should know about? And I said, well, yeah, I have a knife in my pocket, one in my belt, and one in my watch pocket. So he took them all out. He's like, what? Why do you have all this? And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm an enthusiast. He's like, okay. And anyways, the reason he pulled me over is because a vehicle matching the description of mine was recently involved in a convenience store robbery. And anyways, I was very quickly cleared and allowed to be on my way, but it was just kind of a funny story. And by the way, officer, well, I won't say your name, but you know who you are if you... Who am I saying? You're never going to see this. Anyways, he was a cool guy, so no problems there. Yeah, just a funny story. Yeah, so overall, what I like about this knife is that it's so flippin' unique, and it does perform really well. Good ergonomically, good blade, great materials, 154 cm, beautiful micarta. I like this little pivot with the Japanese literature on it. It's a good knife. So what am I not liking so much? So the biggest negative of this knife is that it's different. And I know. That was the biggest positive in my opinion, and it's the biggest negative. What? Well, yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people aren't going to like that it doesn't have a pocket clip. I don't mind it. Well, we'll go into that in my personal opinions, but a lot of people are going to not like that it doesn't have a pocket clip. The convex edge does introduce some unique issues while, when it comes to maintenance. But again, with just dropping, yeah, I had to. The action, I think, is going to turn a lot of people off. This is not a very fidgety knife. And honestly, it took me a long time to get this action. Even as good as it is, it was very stiff to begin with. But it did break in and, lubed it up a little bit. So it's good now. Another thing that makes it not a fidgety knife is this jimping here is pretty aggressive. And so it will, look at that. It'll mess up your thumb if you just sit there and flick it for a while. But, I really don't know what to complain about here. How much does this knife cost? This is an $80 knife. And I think actually this is about a $90 knife. And for this beautiful carbon fiber and this 154 cm, I think that's a great price. Oh, one thing I will complain about is this carbon fiber did have those scratches, those flaws when I got it. So that's not something I'm in love with, but functionally speaking, that doesn't change anything. Maybe if the new ones do have bearings, like I've been hearing, maybe people would like it more. Maybe it'll be a little bit more fidgety. For me, is this knife recommendable? It depends on what you're looking for in a knife. Like for me, honestly, I love weird and wacky knives, and this is kind of a weird and wacky knife. It's unique, it's different. I love that. Functionally speaking, it works very well. However, again, it's just going to have, if you don't like belt carry, you're not going to like this. If you're a fidget nut, you're not going to like this. If you don't want to maintain a convex grind, you're not going to like this. So, can I recommend this knife? I cannot recommend this knife to everyone. But if you like what you see, and if you're like me and you just like things that are different, then yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. You can get these on Amazon. It's just a very different knife. Very, very different. And I do appreciate that. And it's going to stay in my collection. I'm going to keep carrying it. Just very, very unique knife. This is kind of in a lot of ways, this is the oddest review I've done in a long time because like my likes and dislikes list is so short and also in a lot of ways kind of unimportant. Like all the dislikes that I have on this knife, except for the carbon fiber issue, all the dislikes are things that I also like because they make the knife unique and different. As far as a knife goes, it cuts well, it's built well, the finish was good. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. This is all I can give you guys, so I'm going to leave you here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.